Welcome to the Hole as our 2-2 Tigers of Grambling State host the 1-2 Rams of Colorado State. Grambling welcomes three-star corner prospect Reggie Pierce to campus today. First quarter action, Rams driving. Stevens drops back and decides to scramble out, and he picks up 9. Then Dawkins takes a sweep left, sheds the Christmas tackle, makes a cut, and picks up 18. A few plays later, Stevens drops back, has all the time in the world to throw, and he finally hits Gallup on the outside for 14. But the D-line would step up. Stevens drops back. Great downfield coverage by the Grambling secondary, and Freeman is able to get in and get the sack. Now the backup Hill is in the game. He tries to scramble out right, but big Christopher Johnson gets home, forcing the Rams field goal. Grambling takes over. Kincaid drops back and hits Darryl Clark on the outside for a gain of 16. Then Carter takes the handoff, gets some downfield blocking, and gains 14. A few plays later, Carter gets the handoff again, finds a huge hole on the right, and gains 13. DK1 will go back to the air, connected with Pate across the middle. He makes a cut and gains 19. And watch this run by Martez Carter. He goes up the gut, drops his shoulder, runs over the safety, gets into the end zone. 7-3 Grambling. CSU comes back out running. Dawkins takes the handoff, bounces it to the outside. He's pushed out finally after a 27-yard gain. Later, Hill drops back, has tons of time to throw, steps up in the pocket, tries to force a pass into triple coverage, and is picked off by Bridgewater. That is the sophomore's second pick on the year. Grambling looking to capitalize. Kincaid hits Clark on the drag, and he picks up 5. Then Salmon takes the sweep right, cuts it up the middle, weaves through traffic for a gain of 13. Kincaid would then show off his arm, throwing a dart to Salmon. First and goal, Graham. The Tigers will get into the end zone with this TD pass to Kegler. 14-3 Grambling State. But here comes CSU. Stevens goes play action and connects with his big tight end Fackrell for 8. Then Matthews gets the handoff, dances in the hole, jukes out Bridgewater, and he is gone. 45 yards to the house, 14-10 Grambling State. Grambling's offense still rolling. Kincaid drops back and connects with Clark on the outside. He turns it upfield and gains 25. Then Kincaid keeps the option right. Great blocking downfield by the O-lineman, and QB1 gets a big gain of 26. A few plays later, Kincaid goes back to the air. He connects with Clark across the middle for 18. Then Tez Carter would get his second rushing touchdown on the day, this time from 5 yards out. The lead is back up to 11. CSU looks to move the ball. Stevens tries to go deep, but is picked off by Trayvon Cherry. Turnover number 2 for the G-men. But CSU would get the ball right back. Stevens goes back to the air and hits Fackrell across the middle. He sheds a tackle and gains 13. Then Prentice takes the handoff, bounces it to the outside, sheds a tackle. First and goal, CSU. Then CSU would get back in the end zone. Dawkins punches it in from 5 yards out. The lead is now down to 4. And so at kickoff, Salmon a yard deep. He's bringing it out. He starts up the seam, makes a nasty cut to the outside, gets the edge, and is finally tackled after a 45-yard return. And Kincaid would come out slinging the ball. He connects with Salmon, who gets rocked for a gain of 20. Later, Kincaid will link up with his favorite target, Clark, on the slant, and the sophomore fights for 13 yards. Tez Carter would get his third rushing touchdown on the day. Later in the drive, Grambling goes up at the half, 28-17. And now it's time to get lit with the world-famed Grambling State Band. Started the third, and Grambling comes out throwing. Salmon catches the screen, gets a great block downfield, and picks up 18. Then Tez goes up the gut, follows his blocks for a gain of 10. Later, Kincaid and Clark link up again. Clark cuts it upfield and gains 13. Then Kincaid connects with Hicks. Only problem is Hicks plays for the other team. First big mistake on the day for the quarterback. But Grambling gets the ball right back, and Tez is running hard. He gains 12 yards up the gut. Then Kincaid shows off his touch, hitting Salmon on the corner route for 19. And DK1 would keep the option and drop his shoulder to get into the end zone. 35-17 Grambling State. Next CSU possession, Stevens sets up the screen for Dawkins. He gets great blocks and fights for 21 yards. Later in the drive, Kinsey Jr. would get the handoff, make a cut, and get into the end zone. They would go for 2, cutting the lead down to 10. But Grambling looks to put a nail in the coffin. Davis and Kincaid link up for a 15-yard gain. Then Kincaid throws a dart to Davis on the slant for 10. After a sack, it's 3rd and long. Kincaid throws a jump ball to Clark. And look at the adjustment made by the wide receiver. He comes down with it and gets into the end zone. Grambling State gets their 2nd win in a row. 42-32 is your final. DK1 had a monster day, 22 of 30 for 305 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. On the ground, Martez Carter continues his hot streak, 23 carries for 154 yards and 3 scores. For the first time in the Dynasty, the Tigers had 2 wide receivers go over 100 yards. Darrell Clark finished with 9 grabs for 142 yards and 1 score, and Khalif Salmon had 5 grabs for 102 yards. On defense, Deontay Bridgewater led the G-Man with 11 tackles and that 1 interception. What a great win for our Tigers. They keep their winning streak alive. This time it's 2 games. But we hit the road next week against the Tar Heels of North Carolina. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you smash that thumbs up button and subscribe if you are brand new. And hit those links in my description and give your boy a follow on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And we'll hit the recruiting trail and recap this week's game in the next Tigers Den podcast. Have a great day, guys. 2 fingers in the air. Peace.